Hi everyone, I'm Tom Williams, and today's Daily Rant is about the lack of decency and the double standards that exist on television. Once upon a time, a certain news organization, CNN, was perhaps the greatest news station that existed on TV. They had just come up with a 24-hour news format, and people were flocking to take in their program. No longer were we forced to tune in at 6:30 each evening to catch a 30-minute snapshot of what happened in the world. CNN was indeed sitting on top of the world. Now let's move ahead to 31 December 2012. On New Year's Eve 2012, we see a totally different version of CNN. CNN decided to have Anderson Cooper and Kathy Griffin ring in the New Year's at Times Square. Now I was watching the Dick Clark's tribute, so thankfully I did not have to suffer having to explain to my young daughter what took place on CNN that evening. Now first, during the show, Kathy Griffin, who is totally out of her mind to begin with, decided to try and perform oral sex on Anderson Cooper. Now, he was obviously uncomfortable at what was happening. He had to try to block her several times during the show to keep this from continuing. Now, maybe Anderson figured that he could get her to act out like she had in the past to get a few more viewers, but I really don't believe that this was the case. Second, if these roles were reversed and a man did this type of behavior in front of a woman, well, I can only imagine the firestorm that would be going on in the media. The man would have certainly been fired, and there would have been heavy pressure put on the TV channel for the inappropriate behavior. Now, the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, has laws on the books. Congress and the courts have instructed the Commission only to enforce the indecency standard, though, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. local time, when children are most likely to be in the audience. Well, as a consequence, the Commission does not take action on indecent material aired between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Now, pundits of this law would state that this action took place on the East Coast after 10 p.m., so the FCC should just let it fly. Well, I say that this is BS. I know that on New Year's Eve, for as long as I can remember, that I was always allowed to stay up to ring in the New Year's. So CNN should be held responsible for what happened, since many children probably would have been awake and watching TV on New Year's Eve. So why would a major TV program decide to let this type of behavior go on? Well, I think that it has to do with their ratings. Now, CNN let Kathy get away last year with the same type of indecent behavior when she stripped down to her bra and panties at one time during the show. So I know that they felt that maybe they could push the envelope a little further just to get people to watch. Well, I've decided that I will not watch CNN for the next month, and that's my personal protest. I've also sent them a letter to the company, and I complained that I simply do not support CNN because of the appropriate or inappropriate behavior that went on the show. Now, I have their address on the screen, so go ahead and fire off a letter letting them know that this is not appropriate. Sometimes we have to make a stand. Our TV shows continue to push the boundaries of decency every day, and they need to be stopped. There should be no double standard after all. This is Tom Williams, and I want you. I'm out of here.